What information have you heard about 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Taiwan? First of all, take a moment to meditate and pray for the victims of the Taiwan earthquake. In difficult times like these, closeness and faith in God help us feel comfort and hope. Once again, the world witnessed the special power of nature through the devastating earthquake in Taiwan on April 3, 2024. At this time, we see human weakness before the unpredictable power of nature. Taiwan is a place where nature has endowed it with a series of diverse and rich natural conditions. Taiwan has a diverse terrain, from towering mountain ranges to vast valleys and long coastlines. This facilitates landscape and ecological richness. However, the creator also posed a challenge to this island. Taiwan is often affected by earthquakes because it is located on the fluctuating boundary of two large geological plates, the Pacific Plate and the Eurasian Plate. This is an area with significant seismic activity, and earthquakes in Taiwan are quite common. However, the recent earthquake on April 3rd received deep attention. Because of a magnitude of 7.4, this is the strongest earthquake on the island in the past 25 years. After the 7.6 magnitude earthquake that killed 2,400 people in 1999. The earthquake occurred near the mainland and shallow epicenter. Tremors were felt throughout Taiwan and offshore islands. In the Bible, we are told that every move is within the power of God and that He is always by our side in every situation. In this disaster, we can find comfort with God's teachings and our steadfast faith that He will lead us through every difficulty. The 7.4 magnitude earthquake that occurred off the coast of Hualien district of Taiwan Island killed at least 9 people and injured more than 800, officials said. At least 26 buildings collapsed, more than half of them in Hualien. There are 50 people confirmed missing. Is this a punishment from the Creator when humans have lost the original beauty of nature and built too many modern projects that pollute the environment and destroy the landscape? Do you have the answer to this question? Please have your opinion in the comment section below. How horrible! A collapsed building is the most heartbreaking image when the wrath of the Supreme Being ends. Dust was still thick. Panicked people tried to contact their relatives in the building. In the office, when the earthquake happened, everyone was evacuated. Lamps on the ceiling began to vibrate violently as if they were about to fall at any moment. The lights sparkled and shimmered, creating a feeling of discomfort and tension in the shaking space. Documents, stationery, and furniture on the desk began to slide and fall to the floor, creating a scene of chaos and disorder. The construction site also witnessed the horror of the earthquake. The crane's hook oscillated endlessly and warnings rang out repeatedly. The firmly fixed steel blocks also shifted out of position. At this height and with this shaking, we can only pray that God will have mercy on humanity and just help people avoid disaster. Have you ever taken the subway in a state like this? The shaking not only caused people to lose their balance in their seats, but also caused all unsecured objects in the train to begin to wobble. The conductor, who was standing, must also sit down to stabilize himself. The subway lights were untilated, creating swaying shadows on the walls and ceiling, making everything in the train gloomy and gloomy. Passengers felt especially nervous, as everyone tried to cope with the unexpected shaking of the subway during the earthquake. The girl was lying quietly under a thin blanket. next to her mother sleeping in a peaceful room of the hospital. Suddenly, the whole room shook strongly. The girl woke up from her sleep and felt the terrifying shaking of the earth under her feet. Hastily, the girl hugged her mother tightly, trying to reassure and protect her from the effects of the earthquake. With every shaking, they both felt the shaking of the room and loud noises from the objects in the room. The room continued to shake violently, and items on tables and shelves began to fall, creating a scene of chaos and loss of control. However, in the meantime, the close love and care between mother and daughter became stronger than ever, making them feel secure and safe even during an earthquake. Areas with steep terrain, mountains, valleys, or areas with unstable soil and rock are often susceptible to landslides during an earthquake. When an earthquake occurred in Taiwan, the pressure from the earthquake made the soil unstable, leading to subsidence and landslides. Large blocks of land began to slide from high terrain slopes, creating increasingly large expanses of land movement. The terrifying sound of rubbing rocks and the tilting of trees as they were swept away also added to the horror of the scene.
冲的地震，汤方，冲的地震，汤方。哦，你哪家里？我的车在这边。
啊，这红海从打呀！
Can you see the shaking going on? The bridge swinging like a hammock. I couldn't even dare breathe loudly if I were in this situation, let alone take out my phone to film. Do you see anything? The traffic light was shaking violently and the taxi had to stop. Across the street, the houses shook strongly. The boy was wondering whether to enter or not. It can be seen that many objects from the second floor of the building have fallen onto the street. The strong earthquake caused a hill to collapse. Many vehicles stopped for fear of danger. Look, so terrible. Clouds of rock and soil have rolled down near the edge of the road. Dust and dirt flew blindly. The whole road is now filled with smoke and dust. The earthquake was also recorded at a restaurant. At this time, many families were having meals and the shaking caused them to panic. Many people are trying to reassure themselves and protect the safety of their children. Restaurant staff was very brave to arrange safe hiding places and reassure customers. Look at the movement of the light bulb. It shows most clearly how big the shaking is happening. The earthquake was underway and the highway bridge in Taiwan began to shake violently. Each strong shock causes the steel structure of the bridge to vibrate, creating resounding sounds like the terrifying collision of large metal plates under extreme pressure. Each wave of shaking makes the bridge stomp, as if in a race to keep its balance against the terrifying power on the ground. Sections of highway bridges, which had previously endured decades of traffic and harsh weather, are now new victims of the forces of nature. Jewelry store employees realized disaster was coming. She quickly called on everyone to run quickly and away from this area. The glass cabinets immediately moved when there was the first shaking. mall is bustling with shoppers and tourists, but suddenly witnesses a sudden earthquake. The shaking started gently but quickly became strong and startling, causing people to start panicking and running away. Residents and tourists were in chaos, trying to move quickly to find safe shelter. Screams, calls, and the sound of running quickly stirred the air. Everyone makes an effort to stay away from large objects and areas with greater earthquake risk. A girl appeared helpless with what was happening before her eyes. Her dining room was completely overwhelmed by the massive shaking. In places with more people, the situation could not be better. Although they could come together to reduce fear, in this case, gathering too many people would become a disaster if the buildings collapsed. Dust fell from the ceiling because of the earthquake, causing damage to the house structure. Pray that God gives the victims the strength and faith to overcome this ordeal. Many restaurants also recorded similar scenes when the earthquake occurred. The decorative lights began to vibrate, clanging and clicking sounds of furniture colliding with each other. This man was quite old, but he was still very alert and even took out his phone to film. It seems like his life has witnessed many such disasters. Let's give him a like. Let's give him a like. On the edge of the outdoor swimming pool, sunlight gradually peeks through white clouds, creating a feeling of comfort and peace. However, suddenly a powerful earthquake occurred, causing the entire swimming pool area to begin shaking violently. The water in the swimming pool undulates as if trying to escape control, creating large and rolling waves. On the banks of the tank, concrete walls tremble and iron fences waver, creating a sense of instability and anxiety. Strong shaking caused water from the swimming pool to overflow, hitting cars parked below. The sudden earthquake caused the building under construction nearby to shake strongly, causing large and heavy materials to begin falling from above to the street below. An iron staircase fell, creating a loud noise and a horrifying scene. Passers-by stopped their cars in panic. Their eyes were filled with fear, worried about the risk of being hit by materials falling from above. Some people had to abandon their cars and hide in safe areas on the side of the road. In trials and difficulties, we often find hope and strength from faith. The Taiwan earthquake caused people to face strong emotions and unlimited anxiety. However, under the light of faith in God, the people of Taiwan have proved stronger and more united than ever. Although the earthquake caused hurt and loss, in every difficulty we also saw compassion and support from those around us. Through solidarity and love, people have overcome difficulties together, looking towards the future with hope and belief in a bright tomorrow. Remember that in every trial, God is always by our side, giving us strength and hope. Let's continue to build and support each other. And no matter what happens, we will overcome all difficulties thanks to our trust and love. Let's turn our hearts to God during this time and use His presence to find comfort and hope in the most difficult times. We believe that under God's protection and guidance, we will overcome every challenge.